Hello everyone, meteorologist Jordan Derensberg here. It's a Thursday afternoon here in Central Texas, my dudes and dudettes and non-binary homies. Let's go ahead and let's get into the details of our forecast, because we are starting to see some of those pop-up showers like what I talked about this morning on KVU midday at 11 a.m. this morning. And I'll talk about it in a little more detail coming up on KVU News at 4, because we are going to be getting closer to that peak daytime heating where we could have some more of those storms popping off. So let's go ahead and let's take it to the wall here real quick. And we're taking a look outside. This is at the Kalahari Resorts and Conventions weather camera in Round Rock, as a matter of fact. But I think that's supposed to be Max 1. There we go. And as we take a look at Lake Travis, as well as the aforementioned Kalahari Resorts and Conventions weather camera in Round Rock, we're looking at temperatures in those lower 90s and a healthy mix of sun and clouds right there over Lake Travis. And we really could use some rain so that we can cover up those sometimes islands, because sometimes islands, if you're listening to this right now, we don't like you. We don't want you here. So we need to get good rain so we can help fill Lake Travis and get rid of those ugly looking things in the middle of Lake Travis. But then again, we do have Round Rock, the Kalahari Resorts and Conventions weather camera, looking nice. And we do actually have the E-Train at home this week. They're taking on the Tacoma Rainiers. And I'll have your forecast here later on in this live. Right now, as we take a look at our satellite and radar, it looks like the better shower chances are mostly going to be over Fayette County. There is along 290, or actually along Highway 71, I should say, right there just off to the west of LaGrange, and then along Highway 77 just north of there as well, some light shower activity. Not really seeing much in terms of severity at all, but a lot of the heaviest rain is off to the east over portions of Waller County there, just off to the west of Highway 36. So if you're planning on driving to Houston, you may want to watch out for that as you pass just to the south of Brenham. But as you zoom it out here, we do have lower 90s in Llano, still some mid to upper 80s straggling in some sections of the hill country. And we do have some lower 90s in Bastrop, but areas that have seen that rain cooled air include LaGrange, and they're down to those mid 80s. But we've got upper 80s, lower 90s area wide, and our hot spot right now does look like Camp Mabry, checking in at 92. Here's your public enemy number one. Here's your prime suspect for some of these storms moving through. It's an area high pressure, and there is that flow right there to the south of it. It's bringing in a little bit of that moisture, weak disturbance right there here into central Texas, and that's going to allow for some of those storms to pop up throughout the course of the afternoon. It's mostly going to be along and east of I-35. Your algae count: weeds are medium, grass and hickory were low, mold was high with alternaria, and you can find this algae count each and every day on KVU.com as well as the KVU app. Here is that aforementioned game tonight. They're taking on the Tacoma Rainiers. We're going to be getting to the mid 80s at first pitch. This model is actually showing that we could have had a brief shower make its way through, but by the time we get to the end of the game, looking at low to mid 80s for you guys tonight if you're headed up to the Dell Diamond. Lower 70s tonight, mostly cloudy skies before we get to the mid 90s tomorrow. Now the rain chances are dwindling tomorrow. They're only going to be at around 10%. Because that area of high pressure is going to be sliding on in. But first, we're going to talk about the timing of those storms. We're looking at around 5, 6 o'clock here locally before things do simmer down by the time we get to midnight, maybe even 1 in the morning. But as we take a look at that area of high pressure, that's a big ridge of high pressure that's slowly sliding into our direction. And that's going to allow for the southern and central 2/3 of the country to be under this large heat dome. It's going to be more of a broad brush of hot air throughout most of the United States. And not only that, we've got an area of high pressure in northern Africa on top of an area of low pressure in northern Africa. And that is going to be creating some very tight pressure gradients. And when you get tight pressure gradients, especially in those upper levels, you get faster winds. And when you combine that with the Saharan desert being absolutely only sand, a lot of that dust is going to get picked up and carried all the way across the Atlantic, which, yes, it limits hurricane development, but it'll also provide vivid sunrises and sunsets for us as we begin next week. But with these hazy skies, another thing it will do is it will mess up our air quality a little bit. So if you have chronic lung conditions, I would prepare to limit outdoor exertion for your Monday as well as your Tuesday. That's when we're expecting that Saharan dust to be at its highest levels. Now let's talk about the next 7 days, because upper 90s on Monday as well as Tuesday. Monday is the last day of June. If we do not hit the triple digits by Monday, it'll be the 1st June without triple digit heat since before the COVID pandemic. That would be 2019. So it will have been 6 years, or about the same amount of time it took the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup. But by and large, it's still going to be hot whether we hit the triple digits for this weekend or early next week or not. So let's see if you guys have anything to say. It does not look like y'all do. It's only 10 of y'all on our Facebook Live right now. Let's go ahead and let's take a look and see what YouTube's got cooking. Let's see if YouTube has some of our viewers here. It looks like we have 7 watching on YouTube. Thank you so much to everybody tuning in this afternoon. I know it's a busy Friday Z for you. I know you're probably taking the kids out to the pool. Maybe you're taking the kids out for ice cream, maybe some some other fun activities that they might be doing if you've got them. If not, maybe you're treating yourself to some really cool things, or you're probably just at work today, like yours truly. Thank y'all so much for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. And it doesn't look like anybody's got anything to say, it appears. I don't think anyone really has any questions. But what we're going to do real quick before we go, because this is going to be a very common question that you are going to have, is the timing of some of these storms. And so we're going to move through this together, and we're going to move it in slow motion so that y'all can get an understanding, because this is going to be a very common question for a lot of you. So this is 1:30, and it looks like this particular model hasn't really done the best job of tracking everything, especially just east of our viewing area. But then watch this as we get to 3:34. We're looking at Bastrop, Giddings, LaGrange, Schulenburg, most of Fayette County, and most of eastern Bastrop County, as a matter of fact, and maybe even a sprinkle here in the Austin Metro. Could have a heavier shower as we head through around 6 o'clock here in the Austin Metro. Now, this radar is not going to be exact. Let's go ahead and get that straight. Radar is not going to be exact, but by the time we get to around 8, 9, 10 o'clock, sun goes down, daytime heating instability goes down, and the storms go down as well before things calm down for the night. So doesn't look like there are any additional questions, so we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you all so much for joining us here on kview.com, KView app, KView Plus, on your Fire Stick, Apple TV, or Roku. You can watch our newscasts on all of those sites. I'll have more details on this at 4. You could watch KView on all of those sites, as well as on air on KView on ABC 24 here in Austin. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all at 4 on KView News.